Dixon Cemetery, that's what we're calling it. And because Robert and Hannah were buried out here, that's Robert and Hannah's grave right over here. There are only 6 marked graves out here. Where you see the ribbons are all unmarked graves. There are 70 unmarked graves out here. The last grave, the last funeral I attended was Willie Logan. And I attended that funeral and he was buried over there. But it's unmarked. So there are 2 graves over there. I'm assuming that that's him and his wife over there on the end. That's grave. That was 1950. After 1950, my grandfather, I assisted. I was 5 years old. I assisted with him in cleaning his own gravesite down at the church. He wanted to be buried at the church. He died the night Willie Logan was buried.
Wow.
And he was buried at the church. So the last one here was 1950, January 1950, and the first one at the church was January 1950. My mother and I kept this cemetery up until I left, went away to school in '63. We would clean it off every year. These trees weren't here. This was just a field out here with a cemetery. She continued until she passed away in 1970. After 1970, no one cleaned the cemetery off. So all of these trees that you see, including that one, came in here after 1970. So it's amazing how things can just grow up if you don't attend. So I'm going to try to attend to this, to continue working with it and keeping it in shape so that you can come out here.
We're all going to try our best. And as Robert Hanna Committee, we are going to make sure that we put some funds aside to keep track of it. You know what?
All right, and that's great news. That's great news. That's great news. But I'll tell you what would be fun, since we all are Dixons, is to choose your gravesite and say, that's my, because they're all unmarked. There's only 6 marked graves here. They're all unmarked. Choose your gravesite and say, this is mine, I'm going to take care of this one. And go forward with it. I think that would be fun.
Amen.
But I think that this is Willie Logan, all of the Logans that are out here. I think your grandmother and grandfather are buried right over here.
There's a whole lot of Logans.
Right here. Right here. Like I say, I would bet 500 pennies that this is Willie Logan's grave right here. Right there. It's unmarked. It's unmarked, but that's his grave right there. Now my mother knew all of these graves. She was telling me all his graves. That's his grave, right?
We're gonna take care of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't explain who Willie Logan was. Willie Logan was not a Dixon. He married a Dixon. He married a Dixon. She was a Tucker. And he married a Dixon, but she passed on before he did, and he passed away in 1960. No, When did your grandmother say